Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to play one of our fractions in a cup games. So this one is version 1, the comparing fractions. And there's actually a couple different ways to play it. So to start with, the easiest way to play is if you each have the same number of counters in your cups. So me and Mr. Squirrel each have 8 counters in our cups. Now I'm at school, so I'm lucky enough that I get to use the counters we normally get to use. But in your packages this week I included red and yellow paper. And all I would do is you just glue those 2 pieces of paper together, cut out 10 counters, you know, they can even just be squares, just quick cuts, and now you have 10 counters that are red and yellow on either side, okay? So for this easiest version, we each have the same number of counters, so we each have 8 counters in our cup. So I'm gonna shake, 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 without spilling it everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna pull them apart and see what kind of fraction I have here. So I could call this fraction, I could call it 2 eighths, because there are 8 counters total, which we knew, and 2 of them are yellow. I could call it 6 eighths, because 6 are red. So I could say this is 6 eighths, or, you know what, I'm just going to leave it at that. 2 eighths or 6 eighths. We'll talk about the other way I could label it for version 2. So 2 eighths or 6 eighths. So I need to decide. I have to pick one way or the other. So I'm going to say this is 2 eighths. I'm going to use my yellows and I'm going to say this is 2 eighths. 2 are yellow. Okay, Mr. Squirrel's going to shake. See what he gets. Oh, so he actually got the same thing. So, just so that we're different, he's going to label his 6 eighths. So Mr. Squirrel has 6 eighths, I have 2 eighths. Now we don't know who wins yet because we have to spin the spinner. So once we spin the spinner, we'll know if the bigger fraction wins or the smaller fraction wins. Whoop, spin. Bigger wins. So Mr. Squirrel said his was 6 eighths, so he's going to be the winner. So we're just going to keep track. 1 point for Mr. Squirrel, none for me. Okay, let's play again. Let's hope that we get different fractions this time. One more round of this easiest version. So we still both have 8 counters. Okay. So this time, I'm going to say that I have 3 eighths. Mr. Squirrel's going to go. See, he could also say he has 3 eighths because he has 3 red, but he's going to say he has 5 eighths. He's going to focus on the yellow ones again. So again, spin the spinner. Goes to bigger. Mr. Squirrel has 5 eighths. He's now at 2 points. And we're just going to keep playing until one of us gets to 10 points. Now that's the very easiest version. The thing you can do is you actually don't need to have the same number of counters. So I could decide that instead of 8 counters, I want to play with 10. Okay, and Mr. Squirrel could decide that instead of 8 counters, he wants to play with 6. Now you can still play with these different sizes of counters, different number of counters, but it just makes it a little bit more challenging to compare them. Okay, so here I have 4 tenths. I'm going to label this as 4 tenths. Mr. Squirrel has 2 sixths. So I'm going to draw these out on my fraction circles to make sure I know what they look like. So tenths, 1, 2, 3, 4, not that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's this one. No, this one, sorry. 4 tenths. So here's my circle with 10 equal pieces. I'm going to color in 4 of them to show 4 tenths. Okay, that's what my fraction looks like. He has 2 sixths. So here's our 6. This is what his fraction looks like. So as I can tell, my fraction's bigger, so now I just have to spin the spinner to see which one wins. Whoops. Bigger wins, so this time I get the point because my fraction was bigger. Now the reason this is harder is because we didn't have the same number of counters, so it was harder because we couldn't just say, oh, 2 eighths and 4 eighths, obviously 4 eighths is bigger, right? Different numbers of counters makes us think a little bit more because we have to really visualize those fractions. 6 and tenths are different. Which one is the bigger fraction, okay? So those are the 2 ways that you can play fractions in a cup, comparing fractions version 1. I'll make another video for this version 2. All right, that's how you play.